Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. I'm Soopa-Dave, and today's build and play guide is the UK Celtic. Now, this is actually a Baltimore that's reskinned with some significant changes, and we'll talk about these changes. Uh, let's start with the commander. It is just Bruce Frazier, and with Nikolai Kuzunov and Mbali for reload and range as inspirations. For skills, beyond range, igniter, punch through, and fixated. For the legendary skill, definitely want fully packed. We'll show you right here. You get an extra sonar, radar, and heal, and that's arguably the best things about this ship. So we'll go into here for your mods. The first one, you're gonna want aiming systems mod 1. You could take the turret traverse. I'm not a person that gets too worried about turret traverse. And try to plan ahead a little bit. But that is a reasonable option as well. For the second one, propulsion mod 2, it has a decent enough rudder on it. I didn't have that right away, and I definitely would. I actually, just because out of habit of it being a UK ship, I didn't know that it was going to have propulsion mod, and I put on a steering gears mod too right away. I wouldn't recommend that. Concealment system mod 1 for the third slot, and for the fourth slot, you could, as always, go with gun fire control or main battery mod reload. I went with the reload. It does seem to help quite a bit. So for your consumables, you have 3 sonars. They're okay. They're 4.2, so they're not like crazy good or nothing. But your radar is 9.9. Now it only is 25 seconds, but 9.9 is pretty significant especially at tier 7. You can catch a lot of destroyers. That's one really good thing about this ship. I've caught a lot of destroyers off guard in it. For the heal, it is a very good heal. Like, for a cruiser, this is one of the best heals I've ever seen for a cruiser. Sure, it's short duration, but it heals quite a bit back. And you need it because it only has 36,000 health. It does not have a lot of health. So you definitely need the hit or the heals to help kind of get you back for that significant downturn of health. So for the main guns, they are 8-inch. They are not the American guns, and I'll be very clear on that. So the reload time, 8 seconds. That is a little bit better than my Baltimore setup. But the shell damage is worse than the other Baltimore. And this is the downside of this ship. I was super excited about this ship. And it seems like no matter what you're doing and you think you're having a decent match and you're getting destroyers and you look up and you have like 30 or 40,000 damage in it, this has been a real issue with me. Particularly with the AP. If you're an AP user, like I use AP quite a bit when I get the opportunity, this is not Baltimore AP. It does significant less damage, and it does not have the American pen angles. I can assure you of that from playing it today. For the AA defense, I haven't had a match with a carrier yet, but based off of this, I'm sure it's not terrible. Uh, the 5 kilometer, that distance is okay. It's not like amazing or nothing. So having that's what I care about when I look at AA is the long distance stuff. The 2 kilometer and the 3.5, they basically drop their bombs on you or their torpedoes. So I would prefer the longer range stuff. So for maneuverability, 33 knots, 730 turning circle, in 7-second rudder, all pretty much about average. Detection, you'll notice it's a little bit worse than Baltimore at 10.9. I think Baltimore on a similar build is 10.6. and for statistics, and I want to show these. If you get spotted in this ship, and I want to be very clear. Be careful how aggressive you get early in a game. I am a very aggressive player, and like Balti, because it has the same armor basically as Balti. It, if you get caught in Baltimore, you're gone. You can angle against a lot of stuff in a Baltimore if you're doing it correctly and the Celtic, but uh, when you're seen in this Celtic, because you're trying to get into a good position to use your radar, you gotta be careful. You're gonna see here 9 battles played, only 2 survived. That is way below my average. Main gun accuracy not terrible at 41%, but they're not as accurate as that number sounds. I don't think they're as accurate as Baltimore unless I've had some bad luck with it, because all that is very close in stuff, and you're going to see that in the match that I showcase. Uh, in average damage is 40,000. Now, granted, I've had a lot of destroyers. A lot of that is spotting and shooting destroyers, so it probably is a little higher. As you see, my average XP is 1400, which actually isn't terrible. Not ideal, but it's not terrible. And the potential damage, that's the thing I want you guys to see here. That is close to battleship average numbers. So a lot of my battleships I'm around 1 million on. In that, this thing is when it gets spotted, everybody starts shooting at this thing. I don't know what it is, if it's just the ship is a really pretty ship and it's bright green, but everybody starts shooting at it. And you got to be careful. Cruisers aren't much of a problem to you, but again, like Balti, if you have to try to take 2 battleships, it's really not happening. I can assure you of that. But outside of that, I'm sure this thing, what if you can get a solid game, you will have a probably a lot of luck with the damage. I just have not had that same luck. I've been put in matches with a lot of destroyers with it, which I actually prefer. For the armor, it does have a 27 millimeter bow and stern, meaning you can take up to 15.5 inch guns, so basically 16-inch guns and bigger you got to be worried about. Um, so again, just like Balti, the Citadel is very long. um, Now, the race section isn't ridiculously bad, but like I said, if you get, there's not a ton of armor there. I think it's, what is it, 152? It's not terrible, so if you angle, it does bounce shells, but you got to be careful that you're not taking on more than what you can chew with this ship. As we go ahead and start this match and check who we're up against, I do want to say it is disclaimer time. This is a beginner's guide to help out people just learning this ship or learning the game in general. This is not for professional gamers that know everything there is to know about everything. There is also multiple ways to build and play ships, so opinions will vary. I am just a above average player. I don't claim to be the best player in the world. I just am a pretty darn good player. So I do make mistakes. You're going to see some in this match. And also, you didn't come to this video to see how to pronounce names, as I am very terrible at slaughtering other beautiful languages. It's almost an art form. So keep that in mind when you're watching this, guys. No, I know what people are thinking. You hate the ship. No, actually, I don't. I just was super hyped up for it, knowing that it was a Baltimore. But my play style with Baltimore is more AP related, and I struggled early on, probably 4 matches in, is I was basically trying to play it like Baltimore, where I was really just using AP. Once I switched to HE, I've had better luck, the last couple games. And I think that's a big thing is knowing the ship. And I just assumed this thing was going to be exactly like Baltimore because it's based off of Baltimore. Not a good thing to do. And it cost me early on. With that being said, however, though, it isn't a bad ship. It's not what I guess I hoped it for, but it still is a cool, unique ship. Um, is we are moving up. I'm going to try to get up. So I see that our cruiser is going off to the right. Our destroyer is going in. I want to support the destroyer. I'm an aggressive player by nature. And I don't like playing far out if I can help it. Now, there's times where that's the right play, I think, in my opinion, but I like to be pretty aggressive because I feel like I can get rid of, the quicker you can get rid of a destroyer a lot of times, the better off you're going to be. As you can see, uh, yeah, I saw the cap go off and we're going to go ahead and light them up. So one thing I was worried about right away in this match was Atlantico because I knew there was Atlantico probably going to be pushing. And for me, I just wanted to be careful and aware that in Kansas because yeah, I can assure you, Kansas will eat this thing for dinner. Like the 16-inch guns on that thing are accurate, and you don't want to be in a bad spot. Now, if you're angled, you're okay, but so as you can see, he did go dark, but we did get some damage on him. We got 6,000 damage on him, and we've got him basically where he's not. Well, and he just died. So as you can see, our Calgaro took the rest of them off. But in either way, we would have taken enough health off of him to make him less effective. If you're in a destroyer and you don't have much health, you're not going to be nearly as aggressive. So, as you can see it, now I am just going to play it safe here. I have got my butt kicked a few times this morning in this thing to realize I don't want to go broadside, especially with all the battleships on the left side of the map. So, as you can see on the map, there are 3 battleships over to the left. If I go forward, I am going to get absolutely neutered. So, we are actually, I'm trying to be patient because I was hoping actually to get rid of Wichita. And just take a lot of the threats away from our Kogero on this side. But he does seem to play this pretty well. He's not charging the Wichita or nothing like that. So as you can see, I'm trying to line up on Zara. You can see I have AP out, and you're gonna see this AP. It's not Baltimore AP. You see, Atlantico's pushing up, and we got 2 Brandenburgs to my right. So I figured while they're distracting him, I'm gonna try to get a good angle on B cap. I know that it sounds a little odd. The only thing over here left is a Wichita. Between the 3 ships here, I need to go back and help the middle. The middle is definitely losing. And as you can see, Atlantico charged the 2 Brandenburgs, and to my surprise, the Brandenburgs did very well. So, as you're going to see here, I have AP loaded on Mogami at 11 kilometers. If this was Balti, that thing would be that thing would have lost at least half of its health. But we're gonna try to stop that cat from being taken, and we're gonna keep trying to hit it. So you can see the AP isn't awful, but when you're used to Baltimore AP and you're expecting it to be Baltimore AP, it's not. So just when you're playing it, you're gonna probably be using more HE. I've had much more luck with HE in this ship. Obviously, like now, there is times for using, for the, using your AP, but a lot of times, out for me, it seems like the AP was pretty effective or ineffective when you got it outside 11 kilometers, basically whatever it was for the most part. Um, so we're going to push up. We know there's a battleship here, but I have had full health, and I want to take some attention off of our teammates here a little bit, especially because I can control who shoots me. There's only one person right now, the Synop, that can shoot me. And just to make sure I did hit my radar, because now that the destroyer is gone, I wanted to make sure nobody was sneaking up here on my right, just to be safe. And there wasn't, but you can see it. I'm bouncing and shattering shells on a completely broadside Synop for the most part. There was a pretty decent one. We got high up in the side plating. Here he lifted up the side, so I thought I was going to try to sneak a Citadel in. Didn't happen. I should have known better. But you see, I switched to AP here, and now I've got his attention, so I'm going to back up. And you can see it just, I'm angled decently to Synop, and he just crushes me. This is the problem this thing has. I don't think I was angled poorly there. You just Synop got me in a good spot there and hit me. And you got to be careful in this ship. Now that he's turned his guns, I'm gonna come back out and help finish him off here. Because he's obviously not going for me anymore. So we're just gonna go ahead and try to get fire on him, shoot into his superstructure a little bit. As you see, our teammate, the King George, did in fact take him out. So as you see, it not too far into this game, and it's almost basically over. Had this been a longer game, we could have probably done a little bit more. But it's not like we had a terrible game. It just was a good showcase that this thing can struggle to do damage. And you saw it hit. I wasn't like I wasn't broadside to him. And then you see there I'm spotted, so I know something's to my right, so I'm being super careful, and I want to get angled to whatever it is. I didn't actually know what it was because it had been a while as Boise goes down as well, and it is the Zara. And here you're going to see we're on AP. I would definitely use HE a little bit more. Now, I had some pretty good luck here where people were in positions where I could shoot the HE, but you see only 2 shells did anything off that first set. That was a little bit better, but you're going to go ahead and see right here. I think he goes, there you go, broadside. He gets we get two Citadels. Once we get close in with this ship, the AP is very good. As you can see, once he got close in, we can do some damage. Now, I'm not going to play the game of torpedoes, and you can tell I knew that. I just pulled out of the way, and obviously I probably would have been okay, just driving straight forward, but I don't know where that other cruiser is, so obviously I'm not too worried about Zara, so I want to start pulling up here. Just because I don't want to be too broadside to him, and I do hit my radar so we can see who it is, and then Azuma takes him out to end the match. But not a bad ship. This is a pretty good destroyer hunter, if that's what you're looking for, and I do like that about it. But again, it's not a ship that can be the entire focus of the team, the enemy team. But anyway, solid game, helped to team out. You guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time, folks. Have a good one.